Remember that time, kids, I showed a load all the way across the Grand Canyon? You'll be telling your grandkids that.
Oh, I can't wait.
Your old pappy used to be able to shoot ropes across the street. Pappy, why did you care about shooting ropes so much? I was trying to blow the back of their goddamn heads off, kiddos. My goal was to make it look like a shotgun went off in their face when I was done spewing.
Why are you talking like Shorzy?
I don't know, it's like maybe it's just old man Canadian, I guess, at this point, huh? I don't know what. It was
and
a
that's
mix.
me, old man Canadian?
When you are in my mind, everybody's old man Canadian. That's how old people sound in my head. There's a lot of old men that do sound like that.
Going real gray.
Yeah, you don't see it in my actual hair, but in the beard, what look to be blonde highlights are actually gray. There are grays in my head, too.
I guess you can see a couple.
I need to get my hair cut badly. It's been like 4 fucking months, and every weekend I'm like, I need to go get my hair cut, and I just never do. Like, it's completely my fault.
I've been doing that the last like 3 days. I'm like, I need to go cut my hair, and then
I wish I could just shave it.
It's really hot.
If it was up to me, I'd just still be clippersing it, but the old lady won't allow that anymore. She's like, she told me a long time ago, she's like, you look too much like white power. Like, I'm kind of tired of it. And, you know,
so she prefers the Hitler look?
Well, you see, the problem with the Hitler haircut, right, is when it grows out, and it's also a problem with my hair, the way it grows, this fucking puffs out. Like, it doesn't, like, this is whatever, but then this puffs out, and it just looks fucking stupid. And you know what? It's not called the Hitler, okay? It's called an undercut. Not the Hitler. There is a Hitler. That's a different haircut.
That's not an undercut.
It is. Well, it's an undercut, and they also sometimes call it a pompadour, but I never leave enough hair on top to create a pompadour.
That's like Conan O'Brien for it to be a pompadour.
Well, see, that's the thing. Book. Well, that's the thing is I don't think it's a pompadour either, but they label it that at the sports clips I go to for whatever fucking reason. And as long as they know what they're doing, I don't care what the fuck they call it. As long as they know they're going down to a 1 or a 0 on the sides, they're trimming it up top, and they're giving me my line. Call it whatever the fuck you want.
So two questions here, or one's a statement, I guess. I've never heard of a man getting an undercut. I always thought that was like a girl thing. They get like the bottom 2 inches of their hair shaved, and then everything else is long. You don't even know it's there.
I mean, here's the thing. I haven't fucking researched haircut styles for like 4 years at this point.
The second thing is you go to sports clips?
So first off, it is an undercut, asshole. Okay? The undercut means it's just the sides and the back are faded down to a short level, and then you've got the top. Not just for fucking porn stars either. And what was your second question?
You go to sports clips.
I do, because I don't know if you know this, but I'm in the fucking hood, and I don't want to go get a fade. I can go to one of these locally owned black barbershops that's going to look at me like the enemy as soon as I fucking walk into the place. Should. And they're going to give me, I got you fade. It's like, I don't need that. I have a haircut. You know what? I go to sports clips. Not every one of those bitches knows how to do my hair right either. And it's not like it's complicated. They're just shitty haircut people. So yes, I don't have a stylist, but there are a couple of the ladies that work at my specific sports clips I go to that I prefer. Yeah, because I'm gonna go to Darnell. I'm gonna go to Darnell's barber shop down the street and maybe get stabbed while getting my hair cut.
Yeah, I didn't really think about where you were at geographically before.
I used to have so the dude that he used to work at it was another haircut place, and it was this gay dude who was like pretty okay, but he was also oddly ratchet. Like, he would talk about getting into fights with other gay dudes and shit. And out of nowhere one day, I go to get my haircut, and he's like, yeah, I'm leaving. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, my boyfriend and I got into a really bad fight. We broke up. Like, I'm leaving the city. I got opportunities in another city. And I was like, the fuck am I going to do? You've been cutting my hair for fucking a year and a half. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so then I went to Sport Clips, and I was like, fuck it, I'll try it. I don't give a shit about any of their sports shits. Frankly, they'll have baseball or some shit on the TV. I don't give a fuck about any of that. I like it because for the most part, the haircuts are decent. Every now and then I get like some broad I've never fucking seen before, and she butchers it, and I get pissed. But for the most part, the haircuts are always consistently decent. And then they have that whole, do you want the VIP package? Which amounts to, do you want to go get your fucking hair washed in the back? And it's like, nah, I regularly shower. I don't need to, it's Sunday fucking morning. I don't need to have you shower my face and head.
I had it happen once, and it's a real turn on.
Well, see, I do wonder how many like perverts go to hair salons just for that VIP package and like pop a boner while getting their hair washed.
I'm going to be honest with you. That's the way I think of sports clips. It's the same caliber of men that go to like Hooters are going to sports clips.
So I will tell you from what I've seen now, when I go is generally on a Saturday or Sunday morning early because I just, once again, getting a haircut to me, because I can no longer just shave my shit off anymore, is an inconvenience. So my whole thing is I want to get there as early as fucking possible, be one of the first few motherfuckers in, get my shit done, get a coffee on the way home, and I'm done with that bullshit. I will say on Saturday mornings, I don't know about Hooters people, but you see a lot of, Saturday and Sunday mornings, you see a lot of like grandfathers and fathers with their boys. Like I've walked in there and it would look like a military or former military or whatever he was. He had like 4 boys of his lined up all in a row getting the same goddamn haircut he gets. I see a lot of that. Hooters guys, I mean... what is a Hooters guy at this point anymore?
That is also a Hooter guy.
Is it? Okay. See, I don't know
that it is.
I've never been to Hooters. Not once.
It's 3 or 4 times.
There's a Hooters not too far from the house, and it's just like, I don't know, it's like, oh, but the wings are so good. It's like, I have to imagine most food at Hooters is just average.
They're not. The wings are not that good. Maybe at some point they were.
I mean, they used to because they started selling them like frozen and shit. So I thought at some point like it was Buffalo Wild Wings, Hooters.
I think they just have that stigma.
Oh, okay.
Or I guess it wouldn't be a stigma, but
I don't know. Hooters is the type of place to me that makes no fucking sense. I would rather go to Olive Garden where I can get a better deal on the meal than deal with women that are fully clothed. Like, what's the appeal of a Hooters?
Yeah, the only time I've gone to a Hooters is like it's the only thing open, like where I can get a beer because they stay open till like 1 or 2, like Buffalo Wild Wings does.
That would be the only reason I think you would see me at like a Buffalo Wild Wings too. If it's like, fuck, I need to get some food and I wouldn't mind a beer.
Well, I prefer Buffalo Wild Wings, so.
Well, see, that's the thing is also, why would I go to Hooters when I've got a Wingstop and a Buffalo Wild Wings Express 4 minutes from my house?
So, regular bone-in, like classic wings, whatever, I like Buffalo Wild Wings. Wingstop, I don't like their regular wings, but I prefer their boneless.
I will give credit to Wingstop. Their strips are huge. Like, if you ever get they have a meal, it's like $45, and it gets you like 20 boneless,
800 strips.
Yeah, like just giant fucking pieces of chicken and battered and deep fried. So to that I give a see. I think I've had Buffalo Wild Wings once. Only once. And I have gotten weird. Like I used to be a boneless wing guy virtually only. And it wasn't like a taste thing. It was like, I'm fat and I'm getting more meat out of these. And then as I got older, dude, there is something about just a standard buffalo bone-in wing that is fucking magical sometimes.
So I prefer Buffalo Wild Wings sauces.
Okay. I did try the ones, you can buy their sauces at Sam's. The one was the...
some of them.
Garlic Parmesan, and then it came with another one.
Yeah.
God damn, was that garlic Parmesan salty, though.
Yeah, it is. But I don't like their ranch. I prefer Wingstop's ranch.
Okay, I have to ask this. What fucking ranch dressing does restaurants sell? And how come my giant bottle of Hidden Valley doesn't taste the same?
No, so I've actually made the Wingstop one at home.
I was so disappointed. When I worked at Blockbuster, there was the Wingstop right next door, and I knew a dude who worked there. And one day he's like, what kind of wings do you want? I'm going to bring you some. Because they used to close at 11, and we would close at midnight, so he'd come over and hang out, and he'd bring me some wings. And I was like, what's it, like, how hot is the spicy compared to the mild? And he's like, dude, the mild's nothing but the spicy half mixed with liquid butter. I was like, Jesus, I'll take the fucking spicy. Like, believe me, kids, you don't want to get a big fat ass. Go with the regular fucking spicy. It's less butter. If you want a big fat ass and you want to be one of these goddamn loser liberals who sits at home and has children so they can add on to their fucking government support, well, by all means, order it until your fat fucking ass dies. I don't care about you. But everybody else, if you want to survive till you're 55, stop eating that shit. I will say the best wings I've ever had was from a random north side bar called the Dark Horse, which is closed now. But God, dude, we went there specifically for the wings one time. Because they were just, they were just crunchy. The sauce was really hot, but it was really good.
Yeah. I will say, Hooters, the Daytona sauce, it's good.
What is a Daytona sauce? Like, what is the mixture of that? No, I know what, I said it on purpose, like Daytona, because it's funny to me. Daytona!
Yeah, but you get your ass beat in Florida not saying Daytona.
You'll get your ass beat in Florida by breathing next to somebody. It is the wild fucking West in Florida.
It's like a sweet buffalo sauce, kind of.
Okay. See, I'm a big fan
like they added barbecue to buffalo. Kind of, I think, if I remember right. I remember the Daytona sauce being really good, but being unimpressed with everything else. Including the fucking women.
That's the thing, right? Like, I'm supposed to go to Hooters with my wife. Like, I don't have a group of guy coworkers I go out to work with every weekend. So, like, I'm supposed to go to Hooters with my wife and then be disappointed by the flat titties and fully clothed gear. Like, I'm sorry, I could go walk downtown and see way hotter women wearing way skimpier outfits for free.
Well, I did a lot of being stuck in a smallish town with 4 dudes that I work with.
That makes sense, yeah. Though. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're just like a single dude or you force your wife to go to Hooters, like, there's something wrong with you.
Dude, I couldn't stand that. Like, the dudes that, like, you could tell their wife was on. So we used to go to this other place. I think it's a one-off. It's called Bottoms Up.
Okay.
And they actually have like a lingerie night, which is when we would go.
Okay.
So you're seeing it's pretty close.
Okay. So
to being naked. Yeah, it's and which is also, if you think about it, really weird to be getting your food served like that. That's got to be some kind of code violation.
Well, I would walk in there and be like, is this a restaurant or are you repackaging cocaine? Why are you in lingerie?
Well, anyway, we would go, and for 4 dudes to drink, some beers and fucking eat dinner, it was a great time.
See, I'd be down with that. Like, hell, if you came into town and you were like, you want to go to Hooters for dinner? I'd be even down with that. But it's just like if the wife and I are going, hey, do you want to go out for dinner? There's no way in fuck I'm ever going to be like, you want to go to Hooters? Like, yeah. I wouldn't even ask myself if I wanted to go to Hooters.
And this is an oil field town, so, everybody in there's got a swinging dick. Yeah. And then you would see, like, the one dude that brings his wife to Bottoms Up on lingerie night. And you're like, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing?
You know that couple is recruiting a woman to fuck that night.
Or, like, you just suck, dude.
Yeah, like, how shitty of a husband do you have to be to, like, hey, you mind if we go to this place? And your wife's like, what is it called? And you're like, Bottoms Up. It's got pretty good burgers. I like the wings. And she's like, yeah, sure.
They did have good food.
And then you show up, and the chick's got their tits out, and your wife's got to sit there the whole time where some bitch in a thong is serving you.
Yeah, you have your fucking... Yeah, they never went for thongs, but a lot of, like, lace boy shorts.
Which, I mean, boy shorts are pretty hot, so...
I like the mystery.
There is something to be said about that. There is something that has gone wrong in people, women specifically. And one of the things that has gone wrong is the way they dress. Do you remember your first time seeing one of the girls in high school's thong?
It was before high school, but yeah.
Yeah, mine was 7th grade, and the one girl that was like kind of a whore that wore a thong, when you're 7th grade, you're a whore if you wear a thong, by the way, according to children. And I remember in 7th grade seeing my first thong, and it was just the straps that were kind of hanging out above. And I was like, dear God.
Oh.
Like, the 7th grade seeing that, and then you get older, you get to high school, and I remember there was this one chick in high school it was this Polish chick, big fat ass though, wearing those like paper thin white pants that you could see through.
Oh, yeah.
And I followed her virtually to her class, which was the opposite side of the building, simply because I had a complete angle on that.
No, that was actually my first experience. Was this fucking girl? She was Puerto Rican, I think, thick as hell, and
Puerto Ricans are good
black long white
women.
pants.
Oh, it might have been the one girl that I'm not going to say her name of, but was kind of the.
Oh, this was in elementary school.
Oh, okay,
I was in
yeah.
like 6th or 7th grade.
There was a girl in our high school that was like that, but she had basically been passed around by the basketball team, and then.
Oh, so she was wore out.
Yeah. Like I remember. Do you remember? I'm going to use the name. Do you remember Lalo?
Yeah, I do. I think
Lalo was talking about.
He might have been in my division.
Lalo was talking about how one time there was a few of the basketball players and her, and just for no reason she blew them all. I do know the guy she ended up with, and he was a big cocksucker in high school. So it does kind of make me laugh. It's like, you got that bitch that's blowed out, huh? That's your prized possession,
You gotta tell me about this later.
I will, yeah, because she was a nice girl. To be fair, she was a nice. To me, she was never a cunt. I mean, I was kind of a chameleon. I was able to hang out with everybody. I really didn't start shit with anybody. I finished shit, but I didn't start it. She was always nice to me, so I always felt bad when it would literally be like one of the basketball players talking about how they fucking last week they were doing shit with her, and it's just like, oh, that's not nice. Meanwhile, I mean, if you're over here blowing half the basketball team, that's kind of on you, isn't it?
I didn't do that. That was a rumor.
I saw you, Victor.
Oh, well. Why were you watching, perv?
Because I was jerking off. What do you mean? Gotta get my rocks, too.
Heyo!
Oh, the fuck was that?
That's good.
I was like, wow, you've learned how to shoot confetti. Holy shit. Why did you have a random little popper?
Oh, because it was the 4th of July like 3 weeks ago or whatever.
I like to put it right next to my rectum and pop it. The sensation is wild.
I use my butthole to pull the string.
That's talent. I gotta give that to you. I couldn't do that.
At the squeeze.
What movie was that? There's a movie where they're talking about don't disrespect his rug, and he's like, I once ashed a cigarette out on his floor. He made me pick it up with my anus. I don't fucking remember what movie.
Isn't that the
was.
Big Lebowski that he just wants his rug paid for?
No, this was like a hood movie, but it was like a comedy. It was like a black comedy. I think it was a black comedy.
It sounds familiar, but I can't place
It's gonna drive me nuts the rest of the night. I'll end up locating it at some point.
We've been bouncing around a little bit.
We got to talk about the big things. Joe Biden, I can't wait for you for 2024. I'll be voting for you.
Really?
What the fuck no? Why would I vote? Why would anyone eliminate the liberal right-wing battle, right? Just eliminate it completely. Why would anyone vote for a senile old man? Like, you could say what you want about Trump. He's an asshole. He's got an ego. He fucks porn stars. Whatever. But he's not senile. Trump, compared to Biden, while he's fat, is really spry. Meanwhile, Biden, the motherfucker put his heart over his hand for the Chinese national anthem or some shit or whatever it was?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, there's video of him going like this, and then he realizes that it's not the American one. He's just... And then he drops his hand. It's like, how bad does he make us look unless the rest of the world's like superpowers understands what's going on, and they're like, oh, they got that Manchurian candidate. Like, maybe they already know, and that's the whole thing.
I think they do. I think Putin's been saying it.
Well, yeah, Putin has the same problem Alex Jones has, right? Like, Alex Jones has spewed so much shit that nobody believes him, yet 70% of the shit he says is true.
Yeah.
The other 30% is unresearched, just shit that comes out of his mouth. So it's like, that's the problem with Putin, is he is an evil dictator. Like he's kind of an evil dude. But
Sure.
that doesn't mean, like, the problem we have as Americans is it's like, oh, the liberals, like, he's
nuance.
He's evil, therefore he couldn't tell a single truth. And the problem is you have American media and European media saying, no, he's so evil that we shouldn't even listen to him. Meanwhile, he's going, I told you about the Ukrainian biolabs. I told you that Zelensky was going to be trying to funnel money. I told you Ukraine was trying to be part of NATO. So that's the problem, is you don't want to listen to Putin because he's an evil fucking leader. But then it's like, how can you not say Biden is an evil leader? How can you not say Trump, because he's leading America, wasn't an evil leader for the things that America has done?
Well, that's the thing, we can lock them all up. They're all, any American president since fucking Bill Clinton is a fucking war criminal.
Well, I mean, look at Obama. There's nothing but him painted everywhere, and it says hope. Meanwhile, he's bomb droning Syrian women and children. There is this weird thing where Americans need to do some self-reflection. And that's why the Middle East does what they do and says what they says, because the idea is, we've been killing Middle East people for what? How many decades has American troops gone in and slaughtered people in the Middle East, most of the time for resources, and fucked with local governments to the point where the entire Middle East goes under? And how can we not be looked at as evil by their people?
Well, it's the same as if you look at like Osama bin Laden's declaration of war against the United States. His reasons are clear, and it's not that he hates freedom. It's that he hated American imperialism and interventionism. I'm
not going to lie. I have the same problem I have with the Muslims as I do with the Christians. And I can't take seriously anybody who thinks that law should be governed by religion. So, I understand what you're saying, and I don't disagree. I've read that before. The problem with anybody from the Middle East criticizing anybody else, really, to me, is you're still throwing off gays off of buildings for being gay. You're still beating, until you get your fucking country in the modern era, you really don't want to talk either.
Well, I think, first of all, what you're bringing up is more of this is why we shouldn't be letting them into Western countries. But
I don't have the intention of going there. Like, that's not my end game. But all I'm saying, what I'm saying is, it's like
it's mine.
It's like, fair enough. I mean, are you wrong 100% though? That's the question, right?
Do you see what's going on in Europe?
That's the thing, is you can say that, and it's easy for some asshole, oh, what a fucking racist, bro. You're an Islamophobe. And in the same token, it's, Paris has fallen due to Muslim immigration who just decided one day, fuck you, because you shot some kid in the back. It's now pushing over into Sweden, so Sweden, for the first time, ever, is being forced to defend their borders, and they got troops on their borders. So,
Norway, I believe.
You're not wrong into saying that necessarily. You're not 100% wrong, at least, if you say, hey, maybe Middle Eastern Muslims, or Muslims in general that live under that theocratic sort of mentality, aren't really meant to mix with the Western world. Maybe the two ideologies are just so different, and then therein becomes the problem of every Muslim you see immigrating over here talks nothing about how Islam's going to take over the world. Because in Islam, they do feel that they are superior to every other religion. And what Islam does that's incredibly dangerous, because let's face facts, all of it's the same story told differently. Jesus Christ, Muhammad, all of these different religions are the same fucking
it's all the
story.
Same God.
Essentially, but even the stories line up. Like, when you really dig into it.
The Old Testament's the same for all of them.
So, but what Muslims have done, as opposed to every other religion, is Muslims say, no, this is the last incarnation. This is the end-all, be-all religion. Therefore negating every other religion. That's the dangerous part about Islam, is it breeds fanatical behavior simply based on its premise of This is the end all be all religion. Anyone who speaks out against it is deemed to die, essentially. That's why it's dangerous, because they're emboldened by this to think it's a holy crusade.
You know, actually, there's things in. I do not disagree with you. They're cult. It's a backwards culture, and why we think we can integrate them into Western society, or even Eastern society. I don't think that. Well, obviously the Chinese don't go for it.
Here's the thing: I mean, they do not. The Japanese don't go for shit really either. That
Well, they're too busy sniffing dirty panties to fucking really worry.
Literally buying them out of vending machines. What the fuck?
Dude, that's cool as hell.
It's not. It's not. You mean to tell me if you were in Japan and they had a vending machine full of pre-worn panties by some small Japanese, you would gladly buy them?
Yeah, maybe just to see what's going on, see what their diet's like. But
God. That's.
But
I
the real
don't
thing
know how to respond.
Also, from what I understand about Japan is that they love big American white men.
The women do, because the men have lost all
yes.
interest in mating with real women, and the women prefer Anglo-Saxon-looking motherfuckers as opposed to Japanese.
Because American penis so big.
So big, 4 inches. We can't do Asian accents. We're going to have to bleep that out.
Yes, we can.
Oh, this so big.
Don't be a puss.
Fully erect, he 4.5. He gigantic.
Yeah, so big.
So big, so powerful.
But African penis too big.
Americans have the greatest middle of the road penises. Blacks got the big ones.
Best average.
Got the big ones. The Chinese, they got the small ones. Americans, white guys, middle of the road. You don't want to walk weird the next day? Come on down. We're right here.
Yeah, that's the thing I find interesting. You know, the more and more I listen, I've been branching out, trying different podcasts.
Mm-hmm. I have fallen in love with Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino. It's always on. Anytime there's a new episode.
Is that Bad Friends?
Yes, I love those two together are brilliant.
I'll check it out. I haven't really. I've seen clips of it and it's been funny, but I see clips of Your Mom's House that are funny, but I don't want to listen to 3 hours of fucking Christina P.
I just saw a clip where he had his mom on, and I want to watch.
Oh, he's such an asshole.
So he calls her, and he wanted her to say something on the phone, and she's like, "No, you're gonna owe me." And he's like, "How much are we talking?" And she's like, "I want the purse." And the funny thing is you hear Christina in the background, and she's like, "You're gonna have to get her a handbag." Like she knows his mom. Like they must have a pretty tight relationship. Yeah. And she tells him that, and he looks at her, and he goes, "Well, how much is a purse?" And she's like, $400. And then next thing you know, it's up to $4,000. Like she's like, for all this and everything, for the she wants to get Botox. She's like, $4,000. He's like, $4,000? $4,000 to do something on my show? Like, I have a feeling like it's one of those like behind the scenes, very loving. Like, yes, mama.
Yeah.
But on the camera, he knows that there's like, comedic value there.
Yeah, like like I'm gonna talk shit to you on the show. I don't mean it.
Yeah, I'm gonna treat you like you're a senile crazy woman and just play with it because it's gonna be funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and behind the scenes,
he
it's
is
like,
funny.
"Oh, mama, I love you. You my mama."
Yeah, he's been doing the rounds on all the podcasts because of his special on Netflix.
I find him funny.
That dude is funny.
Okay. I kind of feel bad saying this. I think I might hate Bert Kreischer.
It depends on the situation. I hate that fucking squeal.
I don't think his stand-up is all that funny. I think on a podcast he can be an interesting person, but every fucking episode of any show he's on involves talking about how much of a drunk he is. And then I was watching a YouTube video of the behind the scenes of his tour, and he's like, what does he say? He's like, I'm in the pool, I've been drinking since I woke up, and I'm in the pool because my...
Well, that was the Beer Olympics.
And he's like, I'm in the pool because my feet are swelled. Here's the thing. If you are drinking the amount of alcohol to which your feet are so swollen that you have to stand in a pool with cool water, dude, like, do you want your children Like he's also on TRT. So now he's got this like, oh, I'm fucking buff. And it's like, no, you are obese still, and your alcohol consumption is far too much.
For sure.
Like, why? That shows you right there that if you have fame and money, like what doctor would go, hey, I know you're a full blown alcoholic, so I'm gonna give you some steroids.
What I think is, yeah, I get your point, but he's also got he pigeonholed himself. I mean, it is what it is. That's what he's got to do.
My thing, I think, and it's
because let's face it, his stand up isn't that funny to me either.
I think my problem I have with him has nothing to do with his comedy, frankly. I think it's really shitty of a guy who's a family man to go out there, and good for you, you fully admit you're an alcoholic. However, admitting something and then going head on into it being the biggest piece of shit you can, like, let's put it in other terms. I'm a fucking full-on sex addict, and I will cheat on every woman I'm with. And then instead of going, maybe I should pare it back, I have a family of 3 waiting for me at home, I just go ahead and fuck everything I see that allows me to.
Well, there are guys that do that.
Yeah, they're called dead before 50.
From AIDS.
Those guys specifically is the AIDS virus. They don't have Magic Johnson money. They can't
those
last.
Specifically.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
I know you're softer on that aspect because you and it's not that I don't like alcohol. I'm just not a big drinker anymore. I used to be.
Right. And the thing.
But it's just like, dude, let's do weed, right? If you are a father of 3 and publicly in persona, you have a persona, you're somewhat famous. Like, look at Snoop Dogg, right? Do you think Snoop Dogg would keep smoking weed if they told him, if you take another puff, your lungs are going to die? Because at what point does psoriasis come in with somebody who's destroyed their liver, presumably, that badly already?
It's cirrhosis.
Cirrhosis, sorry. Psoriasis is a skin disorder. I'm not a goddamn doctor.
No, I don't know, but if all his stuff looks good, according to him, all his stuff looks good.
It doesn't work that way. He could just be
an anomaly.
It doesn't work that way.
Well, he could just be an anomaly.
It doesn't work that way.
Well, I understand that, but
you know what people who say, no, my blood sugar's good, this is good, my blood pressure is good, those are the same people that don't tell you what was bad. My mother did that. You know what happened to her? She fucking died from it. No. I've been there. People will tell you it's all good because the doctors go, well, this, and this looks good. But then they don't explain that at some point the doctor goes, but. Because when you're that overweight, and it's at this point purely because he's drinking, I'd imagine.
You know what? I wonder how much he weighs, because when you see him with his shirt off, he doesn't look bad, except he's got a giant gut, which is the drinking.
See, that's the thing is, and then with the TRT, they've done studies on this, and the crazy thing is, once you get on TRT, you don't have to do anything, and your shoulders will fill out. You will get rounded, muscular shoulders by just living life. Like they've done studies where they show a dude who just goes on TRT, doesn't do any excess workout than what he normally would have done, and the muscular structure is different. So now that you see him and you see his shoulders are kind of popping and his biceps are a little bit there, that's the TRT.
No, even we could make that argument. Even his chest. And he's one of those dudes that's got little legs, too.
Well, the concern with a guy like Bert Kreischer is he is carrying excess weight. The TRT, if it's building muscle, will theoretically help him carry that extra weight. But the guy is an alcoholic. More than likely on a lot of these nights he's doing blow. At what point between the steroids, the coke, the alcohol, the weed, whatever he's mixing in there, and I doubt he's just an alcohol guy. I'd imagine if he's backstage at a party, he does whatever they're offering. I could be wrong, though. However, the main muscle that you got to be concerned about is the heart. Because
he does strike me.
There's a lot of
Which
stress
this is
on it.
also bad for your heart. This is bad for your heart, but he strikes me as a Adderall and drinking guy.
I could also, I would agree, but I also see him being the guy where it's like, hey, you want a little blow? And he's like, yeah, I'll do some blow.
I don't know because when he was on Legion of Skanks, he fucking steered clear of the weed.
Well, some people like I watched an interview recently. Andrew Andre, he talks about
Eric
doing
Andre.
Eric Andre. Right?
Yeah.
He talks about he'll do DMT. He's done acid. Like he does all these psychedelics and like all Molly and everything, but he doesn't like weed. For whatever reason, he just doesn't like it.
I don't know what happened to me, but I don't like weed anymore.
When was the last time you even tried it?
Probably about 6 months ago.
What does it now make you paranoid? Like, what is the... Okay, let me ask this. If that's the case, what does the paranoia feel like from that? Because I can't say I've ever experienced it.
It's not exactly paranoia that I get. That would happen more when I was a kid, and I think that was doing something wrong. Was more of the paranoia. Just like, I don't remember who it was, but somebody had a song. It might have been John LaJoie.
Who the fuck is John LaJoie?
You don't know? You've never seen like Show Me Your Genitals or any videos like that?
I probably have, but it is the type of thing at this age. I need
Pull it up, Mano.
I need a face. Well, we're not going to show it on stream.
No, that's fine.
What should I be looking up?
Show Me Your Genitals.
Show me your genitals.
Remember that one time I said that women are stupid and I don't respect them?
Jesus.
That came from him.
With them. Show me your genitals. Your genitals. What? Show me your genitals.
He's also Taco in the league.
Oh, God.
Or on the league.
So these are your heroes, huh?
No, I'm just saying, I think... Well, my point was, I think it's him who has a song about being high. And like how... You don't want to go into like the convenience store. You're really thirsty, but you don't want to go into the convenience store because you're worried that people are going to think you're high.
So I can understand
like that everybody's going to know,
but I've never felt that. Like, I think it's
right.
I think it's twofold. First off, you know me, I'm high functioning. I could never get like I would love to, I just can't. But and the second thing I think is I've always had that measure of fuck it. Like, I had no I would literally, with the wife, before we would go watch a movie, and it varied by the theater. The one theater we had to keep driving around the parking lot. And we would I mean, hell, at the time, before I started rolling blunts, we would bring a bowl. And we smoke up, we would go into the Dollar Tree and get candy, and then stroll into the theater. I don't think I ever really thought, like, I wonder if I smell like weed. I don't think I gave a fuck.
See, it wasn't the smelling like weed. It was, I guess... First of all, I'm talking like I'm 17, 18, maybe 19.
Where you can get in trouble from the police and they're looking for people who look like a young Mexican person?
Yeah, and like, doing something wrong. And I was just like, well, I don't know. Like, that or like still lives with my parents, and we don't have that kind of relationship to where I can just smoke weed in like the basement and then like, you know what I mean? So like that was more the paranoia thing. I don't get paranoid now. I just feel bad. I don't know. I just don't feel good.
Well, it brings you down.
No, I'll take that back because I haven't smoked like actual weed since I was like 19 because drug testing and stuff.
Yeah.
And then just rolling over into I don't need it, whatever. But I did when I was trying to stop drinking. I would take a hit or two of like my little vape pen. And a hit or two is cool, like it's fun, and I'm fine. But like one time I took a third hit, and I just feel like shit. It doesn't feel good.
One thing I will say is to be reintroduced to the product, going the vape pen route. I mean, I'm a herb guy. I do have vape pens, but the concentrate is more potent. So like, and it hits differently too.
To be fair, fair, my idea of that was that like I take
Concealment.
one drag and be
Yeah.
done. I don't have to light a blunt. I don't have to, I guess the real thing I should try is, which I know I can get my hands on it, is that like the old school, just like cigarette looking one hitter.
I mean, or you could always go the edible route too.
See, but that one scares me more because I hear about fucking terrible things with edibles.
So here's the thing about it, right? If you can get it from either a person who gets it from distilleries or bud distilleries, as they
Right.
call them, you'll know the exact milligrammage. That's the difference. Like
Right.
when you go to a dispensary where it's decriminalized, that's one of the things that people don't think about, but is really nice about the decriminalization is you know exactly what you're getting. So like as opposed to the old days where it's like, yo, here's a gummy bear. It's either going to do nothing or you're going to sleep for 6 days. Nowadays, it's like, here's a gummy bear. This is a 5 milligram gummy bear. It should make you okay since you don't smoke really, but it's not going to be crazy.
I've heard that the gummies and like the candy and stuff are still kind of like that, but they can really tell you how much is in like a cookie or a brownie. I heard that the candy's still hard.
If they're making it, I mean, like I said, the distilleries will tell you this is a pack of 10 watermelon flavored gummies. Each one of
that
them
are
is
10 milligrams each,
and the whole bag is 100 milligrams. Like they are, I'd imagine, down to the science because they're not going to want to sell you a product that's more potent for cheaper.
I don't know. I really do want to fuck with. I do really want to try DMT.
See, I like weed's cool. I don't really have any interest in Molly, DMT, acid, any of those sorts of mushrooms. I've tried.
I've never done mushrooms. I have no interest in acid.
I got a buddy who does Molly a lot. Like not a lot, like not habitual, but like if he's going to a rave, he's doing Molly, and he swears by it.
Well, as you do.
I don't go to raves. I'm an old white guy.
Yeah. I would maybe try like a small hit of Molly with the wife, like without the kid being around, but
yeah, I don't know, man. There is something to me at least about like giving up that much control.
I don't know. I think they're using it as a therapy, like microdosing Molly. It's like
yeah, but you could also microdose ketamine. There's ketamine,
which I also hear are it's pretty good for therapy.
It's good to get high. It's not therapy. You go in there and you get high.
Well, I don't know. Theo Von talks about it. It's pretty interesting because he struggled with should he do it or should he not a lot because of his sobriety.
Well, that depends. If he's doing ketamine, he's not sober, or he's California sober, whatever that is.
Well, he didn't do it a bunch. I think he did it like twice and was like, it was an experience. Like there is something there.
Yeah, but I mean, at the core of it, you're going in there, getting high on ketamine, and then whatever. Therapy's therapy. It probably doesn't change much.
So let me unwrap the rest of what I was saying with like DMT. Well, first of all, DMT is something your body makes.
So is testosterone, but steroids can kill you.
Right. Well, wasn't really where I was going with that. Well, DMT your body makes when you dream, right? So it's.
I don't dream. I only nightmare.
Yeah. Actually, me too, mostly. So
yep.
That's what scares me about DMT because I don't dream. I nightmare.
I will tell you, when I was on Norco, I had some wicked Norco dreams. Like if me going on DMT means I'm gonna have more intense of those, holy fuck, count me out.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, there's a thing that happens too. Like the first, if I really try hard not to drink, like the first 2 or 3 days are fucking rough with nightmares.
It's called withdrawals.
Well, it's also supposedly, well, when you go to sleep at night when you've been drinking, like you're just basically dead.
What? Like mentally?
Like your brain, your brain's not at full function, so like it doesn't do anything. And then there's like a theory that like you are lined up for a certain amount of nightmares. So like when you first stop drinking, or I hear it with smoking weed too, is that your body just like fucks you up with nightmares.
I quit smoking as soon as I started having pain on my right side. And I didn't start for another 2 months after that. And I don't remember any fucked up dreams early on, but when I was taking Norcos 3 times a day, I could tell. I mean, I could still describe you a couple of them. They were that fucking hardcore.
That's a good time. You got any more of those?
I do actually. I didn't want to be on them. Like I was having a lot of those fucked up dreams, and I was trying to force my body to deal with the pain. And even like today, I took ibuprofen, which I probably should have every day for the past week for my shoulder. But I don't want to. I'm not a pain reliever guy. So yeah, I wanted to be off of them, and I figured, if something happens where it hurts too much, I'll take one. But when I got off of antibiotics, I was already in the mindset of like I want off of anything that isn't like a good medication.
So back to my thing, the DMT scares me.
Yeah, I think I'd probably freak out on that. We're not freak out, but mentally be like, oh fuck.
I think I'd want to do it alone, but with somebody watching me.
Well, you're supposed to have a buddy your first time.
Well, yeah. And I think I'd want to, and what I like about that is that it's 15 minutes and you're done.
The funny, you don't want your wife there because you're worried it's gonna you're hallucinating. Your high Victor is gonna be just like, I fucking hate my wife and kids. I want them to get into a train wreck, and she's got to sit there and listen to it.
Partly, but also like just any bad shit still. Like I don't know, any bad idea, any bad. You know what I mean? Because
any bad.
Any bad. No, well, it's supposed to be like shit that come,
the stuff
it
that
can
you
be
hold
repressed
inside.
shit too.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah.
What's the same thing with what is it? Ayahuasca?
Yeah.
Tea or whatever they make.
I'm interested in that, and I'm interested in peyote.
I hear ayahuasca is pretty fucking intense though, and it makes you sick as a dog.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're poisoning yourself, but I mean, I just think it's interesting. Like there could be some ancient wisdom there. You know what I mean?
I mean, yes, there is that part of it, but the other part of it is maybe these guys are high all the time, and there is no wisdom. They're just addicts.
I mean, that could be true too, but they've done this shit like. I'm not saying I want to do ayahuasca from now until forever.
Part of me, I mean, it's the same thing with DMT or Molly, where it's just like the concern really is that what if chance of like, what if all of the demons decide to spill out?
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know, but
that's one of the big things that would hold me back from doing it is just like, what if like as you said, things that you don't even remember that are suppressed deep inside all of a sudden manifest?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
gonna be a rough ride.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want my wife around. I wouldn't want anybody that. I would want somebody I trust, but somebody that like I don't give a fuck what they think about me at the end. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think a good buddy, like a good friend, is what you really need there. Like somebody that like
hey man,
can watch over you.
That's pretty trippy. What happened?
Take you home, talk to you on the car ride home, that sort of thing.
Yeah, like you said this and this and like whatever. Kind of like a therapy. I don't think it's a bad thing.
Just like
I'm interested in it.
You need that friend that's not going to try to embarrass you when you start screaming, "I'm Captain America." You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, with that said, I'll never try it. I'm out.
I'll babysit you, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, Oh, you ever see those movies where it's like every horror movie where somebody gets possessed? Like 1 second they're cool, and then the next second they're whipping chairs through windows and eating knives and shit.
Well, that's a thing. I'm worried that I'm going to go through like a Requiem for a Dream thing,
Yeah, yeah.
and fucking have a real hard time. Because I think even Joe Rogan said he's had bad times.
Well, I think it's inevitable if you do it enough. Like, I think at some point, and it's probably got something to do with your mood, which probably in turn has something to do with a chemical balancing in your brain.
Well, they always say don't do hallucinogens with like a bad attitude or anything.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah, like, don't go into it in a bad...
which,
Like, if you're in a shit mood because you got into a fight with the wife, maybe don't do the DMT.
well, yeah, for sure, but I don't know. I guess I worry I got so much shit pushed down inside that I would just
Well, you know it's become insanely
fucking
popular, right?
what DMT
Whippets.
or mushrooms or whippets. Yeah,
These motherfuckers out here with a nitrous tank with a Zipple on it.
I know. You can buy them at like head shops. It's
I got a question for you. Do you have a mole? Like, you see this mole right here on my forearm? It's just a little dot. The camera's not picking it up very well. Do you have one? Look at your forearm. In that general vicinity, your left forearm.
My left.
Your left.
Yeah.
Do you, like, below where the arm bends, on the upper to middle part, like right here-ish, do you have a mole?
No.
Is it a tattoo? Maybe could it be tattooed over? Because I saw a TikTok, and this motherfucker's like, all the boys, do you have this mole? And sure enough, these dudes did, and so do fucking I.
I mean, mine could be tattooed over, I guess.
It's right in the spot of where it would be.
Yeah, maybe. I don't now.
I need to find other young boys. Young men for me to test my theories.
It's only in young boys?
It's
only in young boys? I think you were being tricked.
I think the whole thing was supposed to be like, it's men only. They're trying to, I think the whole thing was like, oh man, to prove to you that God exists and we're all manufactured in his image. I was like, I mean, I do have the mole. I've got other moles too, so.
What I think is crazy is that I have a mole on my shoulder that my daughter also has. I think that's interesting.
Passed down genetic moles. Well, is it a bumpy mole or is it just like a birthmark?
No, there's a bit of a bump to it.
Interesting. You pass down your illnesses.
I guess so. Oof. That one you're gonna have.
The Chinese accents are a bit, but you know, we're definitely gonna have to think about that one.
Yeah,
well, good luck to her. And she's
well, I mean, I'm a spry 30, 32, 3,
what?
3, 33.
You say you're not. You're when's your birthday? What month?
I turned 34 in September.
Oh, so I'm older than you by a few months, loser.
Yeah.
Hey, kid, you need to relax.
80s babies.
Yeah. We were like
anytime like
I feel like we were the last generation to like understand what life before internet really was, but also be fully engulfed in the modern era.
Yeah, like 1990, they just don't get it.
No, I mean, kids born in the 90s, you figure they become self-aware around 6 or 7. They're already in the late 90s. I mean, if the Matrix is out, internet's been here for a while.
I didn't have internet in the house until I was 12 or 13.
Yeah, we finally got high speed, which at that time I don't know what high speed was, but we got that because my brother and I begged my dad and told him we would help put in because we wanted to play Battlefield 1942.
Got to be what, 04, 05?
Oh God, around there. Let's see, Battlefield 1942 released in 1942. Interesting.
Whoa.
Came out in 02, so yeah, that's where it would be. It'd be 02. That's what we'd
Hey,
be
couple
looking at.
questions, then we'll-
What's that?
couple questions, and we'll wrap it up.
All right. Ask away. This is an AMA. Ask
Have
me
you
almost
played
anything.
Hell Let Loose?
Yes.
It looks fun as hell.
Game is hardcore.
And the 6 Days in Fallujah or whatever, that looks fucking rough too.
I really do want to get that game, but I don't want to get it unless I'm playing with buddies, because right now there is no story, so it's only like online together with people.
Yeah.
But I do
It
really
looks
want
fucking-
that game. I was watching some former Marine play it on his like YouTube stream, and he was like,
Did he cry? I saw a dude like crying. That was like, fuck.
No, he didn't cry, but he was dissecting everything. Like, you know how like a normal gamer, you'll see the weapon cursor go here, here. But this guy was like, his cursor would go from here to here. Like, he was real life monitoring the situation. He wasn't living in the realm of the monitor. Like,
He was somewhere else.
Yeah, he was like, there's periffs that he was seeing that weren't on the screen. You know what I mean?
It's pretty sick. Hell Let Loose looks like it's a lot of fucking fun.
Hell Let Loose is awesome, but it is very much hardcore. It's one of those things where you could literally, if you didn't take a vehicle or something, depending on the size of the map, like the one map in France, I walked probably 5 minutes worth of territory behind enemy lines, wiped out a couple dudes, and then within a blink of an eye, they got me. Like, there is no armor modeling or anything like that. Like, you get hit by gunfire, you're dead.
That's pretty crazy. It looks fun. It looks like it's a lot of sweats.
Yeah, I mean, the nature of the game itself is like hardcore. Like, think Call of Duty hardcore mode, and then some. I think what their goal was.
Shot, you're done.
Yeah, I think their goal was to be more of a tactical first-person World War II shooter than like a big crazy one. God, I think Kevin Hart and The Rock are a wonderful pairing.
All right.
I just watched a video where it was Halloween, and Kevin Hart comes over dressed as The Rock from that photo where he's like in the black shirt, and he's got the fanny
I have
pack.
seen that one.
Yeah, that video's, and he's just like, here, yo, you want the king size? You don't get the king size, throws it on the floor. You get the mini one. Put that in your fanny pack.
No, it's that was like his freshman like high school or like freshman college football picture too.
Well, the funny thing is The Rock,
which really tells you what the time was.
Well, yeah. I mean, they also had photos of him at like 16, and his shoulder base was like unreal. Like he's like Schwarzenegger. His genetics are there for that.
He, I believe his story is like he was decent enough at football he could have gotten into the NFL, but he wanted to be a wrestler.
I'd say he made the right call. If you look at how many hundreds of millions he's worth right now.
So anyway, I'm telling you right now, that motherfucker isn't real.
I'm going to assume you have some sort of conspiracy theory that he had lizard blinking or something.
That's what's going around the internet, yes.
I think in reality he just was wearing a green hoodie.
That could be. I
saw a photo of the guy, and he just had a green hoodie on. But he looked like a human to me.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting because this is actually, I'm going to take the opposite of what you think I'm going to take.
Okay.
She
was on DMT.
No, I think she might have been drinking a little bit.
Okay. I do think airports should stop allowing pre-flight drinking.
I disagree, but I'm biased.
I think if you did, a lot of this shit that goes on planes where they got to get grounded in emergency land, or they kick somebody off, or they duct tape an asshole to a chair, would be avoided without the drinking. I mean, alcohol is a drug.
Possibly.
And if we want to go apples to apples, if I can't spark a bowl, you shouldn't be able to have a vodka in the air.
Well,
Beer is circulated, invented. The smoke wouldn't fuck with anybody.
then why can't I smoke a cigarette on a plane?
Agreed. I think
Okay. All
you
right.
should be
As long
allowed
as we're on
to.
the same.
I think if you can have a beer or a hard liquor drink on a plane, you should be able to smoke a cigarette on a plane. You should be able to smoke a bowl on the plane. You're not driving the motherfucker.
Well, all right. Well, we agree there. But I got a gecko in my garage.
What if it bites your throat out and you turn into a gecko man?
That'd be pretty sick, huh?
Yeah, but not in the good ways. Like your tongue gets all weird and you get weird sticky hands.
I'll change colors.
That would be a benefit, being able to camouflage.
Yeah. It's really funny to watch them on like shit that's not natural though, because they try to camouflage and it's just like you're not.
You're not a television set, little gecko.
Yeah. No, like they try to like camouflage on shit that's white, and it's like you're not white right now. You understand that?
Well, that's because white is a devil color.
Right. You're like gray. You're close.
Trying.
You're not there.
Trying.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the albino spirit.
Like to get on a piece of wood. Like, yeah, you're brown, but you're not the right brown.
You're not stained.
Yeah. But like they get on a piece of bark. Like, yeah, you are the right color. Good job, bud.
I don't know what the science behind that is. It's got to be something to do with the actual feeling, the flora and stuff, or the texture.
Yeah, I don't know what the science behind that is either. But I don't mind having them in my garage. Some of these spiders.
How have we not like harnessed the power of the gecko to make super soldiers like that can camouflage?
We might have.
Right.
Hey, wait, we're getting off this fucking first.
Crazy
that
bitch,
lady
right?
is hot.
Yeah, most crazy women are.
Yeah. Second of all, apparently she's missing.
What?
She's been reported missing by like her family.
I know that the conspiracy theorists would go, well, she called it out and they're silencing her. I would say she had a psychotic break and
also could be.
You know.
I'm not discounting. But what I think is really interesting, and this goes to further prove my just the whole thing is interesting, is that they're like, how come this has never happened before? And then they have like one video of an English dude from like 2019 doing the same thing, freaking out because the guy next to him wasn't real or something. And it's like, so we have two videos 4 years apart, and we're calling it.
I'm gonna say this. I think it's the vaccines.
What do you mean by that, Joe Rogan?
I mean, we didn't have if this has never come about before.
I think
all of a sudden people are saying people on planes aren't real. Vaccines.
I think. Well, first of all, those two incidents are 4 years apart.
I'm joking. I will say this regarding the vaccines. Both my mother-in-law and my father now diagnosed with forms of vertigo. Both around. My father was just in the ER for this. My mother-in-law a few months back had this going on. Both are vaccinated. My dad only got the first one.
I remember you talking about your mother-in-law.
Yeah, my dad only got the first one. My mother-in-law's got the full suite. I find that curious, personally.
8 boosters?
17, I think they're up to now. 1 for each day of the week.
Right.
Yeah, I think she's. I think
the Beatles are trying to tell us something.
They wanted. Yeah, well, Paul McCartney's a big vaccine guy. I think it's. What are they at now? 2 or 3 boosters? I lost count at 2.
I think they're like 4 or 5.
That's insane.
Who's still doing that?
Yeah, no, you've got to be pretty goddamn dumb to like either that or you're like, you know what? I'm 4 boosters in. Fuck it. Keep going. Like, there's kind of a point of no return, right? Like, whatever damage they're going to do is already done. Unless the new booster comes out and you go blind or something. That's a different story.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad I didn't.
Theoretically, the boosters should be getting safer with each iteration because you would have more time to research it. Theoretically.
You would think, but...
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. That's, I got the initial one, and I didn't get a single booster. I think I got it, and I was like, it made me feel like shit for a day, and then I didn't get COVID for another 2 years, and I was just like, I'm not really worried about it. Then out of nowhere, I go into a Sam's Club, and one of these heathens must have spit on one of the items or something. Gave me fucking COVID.
I think it's the more and more I keep looking at our. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor.
I only play
Anything.
one on TV.
Yeah. Well, I am a doctor at work, but it's different.
The Doctor of Love.
Yeah. I'm a freelance gynecologist.
Your van is looking nice, though. I like how you got the phone number on the side of it now.
Yeah. The women like the stirrups.
It really is professional looking. I mean, it's an abortion van essentially, but it's pretty cool looking.
I do not perform abortions. So
you know how much money you could be making?
I know in Texas I could be making a killing, but somebody could report me and claim like a bounty.
You could be making a killing by killing babies, like what I did there.
All right, not bad.
I think Bill Burr did say has the best line on that whole thing, and he's like, "Who the fuck am I to tell you how to use your body?" He's like, "But you are killing babies." Like,
well, that's the argument.
Yeah, I think
like you don't get to say you're not killing a baby.
Yeah. This idea. I actually saw a photo of this woman, fucking 8 months pregnant, and said "still not a person" written on her stomach, and it's like if you weren't pregnant, I would be wishing you were to get hit by a car.
Yeah, like you're just trash.
You
it is a
bitch.
thing. Like that's the middle ground. Admit you're killing a child because you are.
I honestly, I shouldn't. You're right. I shouldn't be able to tell you what to do with your body. You shouldn't be able to tell me what to do with my body, which includes you shouldn't be able to force vaccines on me.
Right.
I can't force you to have an abortion, so I can't force you to keep it, but you're killing a baby. And then there's the argument of like, well, it's just a clump of cells. You know what? Tell me what that clump of cells, 10 times out of 10, is going to turn into if you don't abort it. What is that? Oh, yeah, that's right. A person. Get the fuck out of here.
I'm cool with like up to like, I think the thing that like the Supreme Court overruled Roe v. Wade was over like 15 weeks. And I'm cool with an abortion at 15 weeks. I don't.
Well, that's what, 3 months?
Not cool with it. Yeah, it's 3 months.
I guess one of my big questions is at like what point are you pulling body parts out?
I mean, I'm sure it looks somewhat. I'm pretty sure it looks somewhat like a child at 12 weeks, 15 weeks.
I mean, I understand the argument because some women don't even know they're pregnant for 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, I think the 6 weeks thing is fucking a little ridiculous if that's the line you're drawing.
Why not go for 10 weeks? Why not just make it an even, just like 10 weeks?
Or something. 12? I don't know. Let's find a happy medium. This like, we can abort babies at 9 months old in like New York and Vermont and Virginia. Like, you're fucking crazy. That is a baby.
Yeah, up to birth abortions make me sick. That's really is like you're murdering a child. You're not aborting anything.
Like you're crazy.
Yeah, you're killing a baby.
That's not the right answer.
Like what you're doing is no different than if I came over and stabbed the mother in the stomach. Like you're killing a child.
Like kids, it might be rare, but like kids can be born at like 7 months and live.
Yeah, I was a preemie by I think 3 or 4 weeks. Explains a lot.
So you made it 8 months.
Yeah, something like that.
And obviously you're not all here, but there's something.
I'm alive. I mean, I'm breathing. Technically.
Yeah.
That's what the doctors tell me.
So I don't know. I just, at that point, it's just like, hey, wherever the test, and this has always been my thing, wherever the test is for Down syndrome, like that should be like about the cutoff.
Well, I know in Europe they basically try to force abortions if they find out that the kid's going to have problems. I don't know, man. I do feel that should be the mother and father's choice. Like,
I think you should still get to make that choice, but you should also give me the choice to
terminate it,
to keep or terminate it because of medical complications. So whatever that time is.
I'd agree. I do think it does depend. Like, not. I think you should get that choice, but I think there becomes a problem then when it's like you have a couple that has had 2 pregnancies, both have come out Unfortunately, they're tested for having Down syndrome, and they terminate too. It's like, at what point, like it's not a puncher card system. Like, what damage are you doing to your body? Like, maybe you need to
No,
get
I
tested.
also think at some point you should be told, like, hey, no more. You don't get to do this anymore.
Well, I think that's a big thing with the abortions. Like, women who are that type of woman who are super pro-abortion, they treat it like a puncher card system. Like, it's a badge of honor that they've had 6, and it's like, for one thing, that just tells me you have zero self-control and zero respect for yourself.
I think it should be a punch card, as in, like, on your third one, it's like, you're done, we're sterilizing you.
Yeah, I mean, at what point do we put you in a mental hospital and have you evaluated? Like, you're a habitual abortionist. Like, at what point do we say, you know what, maybe you should be checked out here? You're a little goofy. But that would also require a country that gives a shit about its citizens' mental well-being.
Yeah, but what do you do with like 2 28-year-olds that are trying to have a kid that have 3 miscarriages? Do you sterilize them too?
No, I think a miscarriage.
I don't know, just devil's advocate.
Well, I think a miscarriage is a different case. I think it's one of those things where, in that case, there wasn't an abortion. It was a natural process, unfortunately.
Yeah. Also, that's really early. Like, you get to a certain point, and, like, you're not going to have an actual miscarriage anymore. Like, the other things can happen, but you're not going to have just a miscarriage.
Well, the concern with having multiple miscarriages is you are, and once again, I'm not a doctor, but from what I understand, you are doing damage to the tubing.
Yeah, you're not viable.
So every miscarriage you have, you've got more damage done to whatever's going wrong there. The tubing's getting worn out. Whatever the main issue is it's being exacerbated with every miscarriage.
But I do know a guy whose wife had like 6 or 7 miscarriages, and then they had one. And it was a perfect baby, and she's fine.
Did he all of a sudden find himself going back to church? The Church of Satan?
No, actually, he's a pretty normal dude. He just wants to be left alone, does what he does.
Yeah,
whatever.
I think at that point, if you get that on the 8th try, you get that kid, you say, baby, this is enough. Like, you take a break. We're done trying to procreate.
Yeah, they were older too. They've been trying for a long time. He was like 36 when they had their first one, and then they kept trying. They never did have enough.
Yeah, unfortunately, that sort of thing
so
really beats up the insides.
Oh, it really, to hear like a different opinion, with him saying like, "Are you gonna have another one?" To me, oh man, like, I can struggle money wise and have 2, or I can give this one kid her best life.
Well, I also think it's
kind of.
Well, it's got to be what is the drive though too. Like the having more children should be an agreed upon. Like, yes, we both have an interest in having more children.
Right, but I mean, I just I think like a robot, so it's.
No, I understand that thing, but I think that's the problem is people look at it a little bit too like the whole thing is like, first question should always be like, do I even want another kid? And then the next question should be, well, can I even afford another kid?
Well, that was actually his point when he was telling me. He was like, if you can have another kid, you should have another kid. He's like, fuck what the money's like. He's like, you'll figure it out. Just, have another kid. And I was like, I don't know. And now the world keeps getting shittier and shittier, and I don't fucking know, dude.
Yeah, it's a weird time because we're used to America being like the hey, everybody talks shit about them, their country is trying to kill itself, but it's kind of going on everywhere now.
Well, the other thing too is that like I keep thinking more and more about that general. It is McGregor, I believe, that said, I don't even know if we're gonna make it to the 2024 election, and it's the more and more shit I see, and it's fucking. Dude, everything's up in price. I can't go buy. I look at the price of anything. I'm like, that didn't used to cost that much, dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's even hit like because I go to Sam's Club a lot. Everything across the board there is more, like Dunkin' Donuts coffee. When I first started buying it at Sam's Club, was like $16 for a big thing of it, and I think it's like $25 now.
No, everything's up like at least 10%, and it's just looking at it, it's just like Kraft mac and cheese is up like fucking 15%. It's just
And
like
that's
what
just
the fuck?
styrofoam.
And then I'm looking at yes, but my daughter loves it.
It's tasty styrofoam. Who's going to argue that?
Yeah. Um, I just think about my buying power as a dude that makes what I make, which isn't crazy great, but it should be enough.
I'd
And I'm just
agree.
like, man, what the fuck? Like I, and then with like my free market ideals and stuff that I'm like, I want more money. And it's like, well, if the company doesn't want to pay you more money, like you can fuck right off. And it's like, well, I don't know. Like I'm at the same amount of money I was a year ago, and my buying power is less. Somebody has to do something about this, surely.
Yeah, well, as a diehard Joe Biden supporter, I don't even notice inflation. And honestly, I'm willing to pay
But you
the
know what I'm
extra.
saying? Like
No, yeah, I agree.
I'm not I'm not asking for a handout, but
Well, that's been the argument for a long
yep.
time that companies should be paying to. You should be, the idea of a yearly cost of living raise doesn't really exist
Well,
anymore.
I can, and I agree with the argument that inflation or wages have not followed inflation.
No, they haven't.
I mean, that's for sure.
I mean, even
There's no
these cost of living is bullshit too. Like, there's nothing that is adequately moving with inflation and things like that at all.
like I don't know. To me, if I got no, I'm just fucking. Sorry, I'm just fucking with you.
What did you say?
I'm sorry, I gotta go.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, okay, so yeah, so we both have a friend that is dealing with the same issue, but one of the problems is, and he makes a good chunk of change. And one of the problems with him is he's living in Cook County, Chicago, Illinois, which right off the bat he's losing 45% of his income yearly between state and federal
Well,
taxes.
even for me, my thing is like, okay, like this is what I make. I want this much more to cover
Yeah.
what the fuck's going on. And as a business, you should raise your fucking price.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That
the idea theoretically in a perfect world should be, hey, inflation's up 15%, my pay rate should be up 15%.
yeah. If inflation goes down, which it never does, I will gladly take a pay cut.
Would you though?
Actually, a system like that might not. Well, if I really see it, you know.
I mean, but then the problem with that is you're at the company's, like, the company could say, well, our price of buying our equipment is down. Meanwhile, eggs are still expensive. And they can say, well, since that price is down, but then but I don't know, because that's a steep slope. Because then the argument becomes like,
I know.
are you paying me what I'm worth, or are you paying me what you think I'm worth? Is the next question. Like, if you're willing to remove some of my salary,
Right.
then prove to me where I'm not doing the work to justify that salary.
Well, I'm 5 minutes late every day, so that's probably,
Gotta go.
that's me.
Doesn't matter if you put in the overtime.
Yeah, fire me, please.
And all that. How's Texas unemployment? Is it good?
No, I think they get like, $700 2 weeks.
That's not bad. I don't know what the Illinois maximum is. It's probably a small apartment. Illinois just loves giving away shit, or Chicago does.
In '09 when I got laid off, the max unemployment was pretty much what you can get in Texas now. So I'm sure it's double that.
Oh, it's got to be.
So it's probably $1,400 every 2 weeks.
It's not only the raw dollar amount you can probably get. It's probably like if you're unemployed, you can be signed up for this, free phone, this program, housing assistance, food stamps. I mean, like I said, I had a former, I had a buddy who told me straight up that he was getting paid like $30 a month to live in Section 8. because he had so many kids that they were giving him so much supplement that they were essentially paying him to live there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, why is that incentivized? Like, that's my problem.
Well, that's the big problem with the welfare system in general, is why is the welfare system incentivizing any behavior?
I'm all for helping people that need a hand. But when you've been on food stamps for fucking 20 years, you need to change something about your life. That's not.
I mean, well, the whole idea
That's not
behind
the
it was
taxpayer's issue.
it's supposed to be temporary assistance on top of it.
Right. But do they? I don't know. I just me, a hardworking American, is being priced out of the market on everything.
Yeah, middle class is being priced out of anything. There is no, they're slowly destroying the middle class.
Yeah, I can't even think about going to buy a new truck. Like, I'm just fucking stuck.
I mean, and that's the crazy thing, is that all depends.
And by
on the
new
credit.
truck, I mean a used truck that's a little newer than what I have.
And that still all depends on credit on top of it, because you're not going to go in there.
Right.
You don't have the extra cash to go cash at hand, so you're, and that's how these.
Know what? Like,
that's how these shady dealers get people, though. These people who don't speak very good English go into a dealer. All they know is they're getting a vehicle. Thank you. You've signed me up with a 36% interest rate.
well, it's the same thing with like the fucking the dealerships that open around tax time that sell nothing but Dodge Chargers.
Oh God, you
and
always know those things are fucked up too. That you'll drive them a month later, they'll be breaking down on you.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, you still owe us. And also, it's got what do they call that? Low jack. It's got low jack on it, so we will come get it.
Yep. Yeah, we will repo the shit out
of
you.
The minute you don't pay, we will come get it.
I will say some of those cases, it's just like, fucking take it. Like, it's a money pit. Fucking take it. Like, the worst you're gonna do is make me not have a vehicle that I hate being in every moment I'm in it. Take it.
But those black dudes love being in Dodge Chargers, dude.
All right, I have to say this about the black community. What is up with the gold vehicles?
You know, I don't see that too much here. Gold, not so much. Wild colors, I do.
See,
pink, green.
Jesus.
Crazy greens, crazy purples, crazy pinks.
See, the only thing you really see out here with that is, like, you'll see, like, a black dude in a Charger, and he'll have it, like, racing striped. He'll have a couple bumper, like, they go all in on that. But, like, out here, and I think it's because they're the cheapest vehicle on the lot, like, you see a lot of shitty gold-colored minivans and gold-colored sedans. Like, they went to the lot and nobody buys it because it's fucking ugly. And it's like, well, this one's a good deal. I'm pretty sure that's the concept.
That could be true. Like the black single mom #1 car is like a gold Nissan Maxima. Exactly. I could buy that.
Yeah, with so-so air conditioning, you know?
Yeah, like one rim doesn't match.
Yep, she's got the the perpetual spare. Always got a spare on one of the tires.
Yeah. It's somewhere on the car, but it's never in the same place.
Yeah, it hasn't been in the truck in the trunk in 6 months because you've been swapping it from tire to tire. But yeah, it's that sort of vehicle. You see a lot of those
rotating tires, right?
Until it pops and he goes careening into a median. The type of car that you probably don't feel safe going on the expressway with. And then you also see a lot of like the OG blacks, like the old heads, do love their Cadillacs.
Yeah, Cadillacs, yeah.
Some of them you see a lot of the old dudes in them, and they're like kind of old Cadillacs. Every now and then you see like an old dude with an old Cadillac that has put money into it, and it's like
it's a nice Cadillac.
Fuck, that's a nice looking Cadillac. Like, I'd want that Caddy. Like, fuck the Escalade. That's beautiful.
No, like you can tell he like wipes it down every Friday.
It's
Saturday morning.
If
he's out there wiping it down.
If he
puts a suit on and goes to like the cookout.
Oh, he drives it to church, and then they get together after. And like it is the type of dude where if he turns that engine on, he's probably so familiar with it. If he hears something off, it's immediately like, I got to get this fixed.
Off.
Yep. It's we're
not. Got to get this fixed. Can't go to church today.
Yep. Nope. You guys go ahead. Take the Honda. I need to get this looked at.
Yeah. Got to get a tow truck over here, tow it to the shop.
Yep.
I'm not driving it.
Either that or it's like, the guy, whoever their person is that helps him, if it's a local buddy, like he's coming over, He's
Yeah.
bringing his jack setup. We got to get this done.
Yeah, it's also probably like he's probably poured his life savings into that thing at one point. Like
Well,
he's probably fine now, but at one point,
Yeah.
that was his biggest expense.
Yeah, when he was still working in whatever union labor job he had, like all excess income was going to the caddy after the kids.
Yeah.
Which I say good for you. Every now and then you see one of these like there's someone in this area owns a Model T. I've seen it on the fucking road. I mean, I do love watching
That's
those.
pretty cool.
I do love watching those guys drive those things because they always look nervous.
Yeah, it's fucking nerve-wracking.
Like it cannot
sure.
be a fun ride at all. Like I'm gonna go on a Sunday stroll and it's like goddamn Western Avenue. Like why?
There's a couple dudes by me that have like the 30 to 40s like coupes, Chevys and Fords.
Nice.
And they always look nervous. They're always like fucking up here and like fucking
They're too afraid that
driving.
if they feather the gas a little much, it's gonna spin out on them. Like it's got to be nervous as shit.
And then I'm nervous around them because I'm like, I don't want to hit that fucking thing.
That's a hefty insurance claim, exactly. Like fuck, I can't handle that. My whole thing's gonna go up.
Yeah, I don't know. But have you seen that meme? Probably not because you're not on TikTok. But it's been going around that it's like a Dodge salesman at the end of the month when sales are low. And it's Brandon Fraser from that movie. I can't remember what movie it is, but he says, "Oh my god, a Negro."
Oh, blast from the past.
Yeah.
My lucky stars,
It's like
a Negro.
Sales. Yes.
What's even funnier is the woman's reaction. She's like, "Say what?" I love that movie. But
he says the meme around it is like Dodge salesmen when they see at the end of the month on a low sales month, and they're about to get fired.
What's that?
Yeah, put a black guy in a Charger. You can do it.
You'll accept 28% interest rate? You got a deal. We were able to work this out for you with the bank. No problem.
Yeah.
$900
a month.
Yeah. Literally the reason why they get repoed is because it's an ungodly amount of money a month.
It's rent. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's rent for your second family. All right, Victor. I've fallen out of love with you.
Good night. Oh.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, see you next week when you're back in love with me.
Later, sweetie.